This is Dr. Brandon Beals. I am one of the founding and lead pastors of Venture Church in the Seattle area. Fun fact, I've been to 48 of the 50 states in America.
My name is Tony Matar. I'm a pastor of Venture Church. I pastor a church called Venture Seattle, in the heart of Seattle. And I have been to 6 states in all of America. Welcome to Pastors Unfiltered.
Hey everyone, welcome to Pastors Unfiltered. I'm your host, Pastor Tony Matar, joined without my lovely co-host, the Reverend Brandon Lee Beals. He is gone, finishing up where is he, Judah? I should know these things. You're his son. Where is he? On the plane. Where did he go? Cuba? He was, okay. He was in Egypt? Yes. Oh, well, that's nice. Typically, he tags me in photos when he's gone, and he tags me as like it's like the back of someone or like a woman with like a really bad haircut or something. And he'll tag me as that person. But this time he didn't tag me. He's tagged me as a camel before. I don't know if I'm supposed to be offended or not. He didn't tag me in anything this time. And when I ask him why did he tag me, he goes, "It's because I'm thinking of you." Also, a text that says hello works. At any rate, well, PB is gone. We love him. Hope he is doing well. I was gone last episode, but we are back with another guest. The actual new co-host of Pastors Unfiltered, Pastor Morgan Bashir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Morgan is in the house. Mo Butch, you did a great job with Chad Rogan Josh. What was his last name?
Roba.
He could kill me.
So we had been saying his name completely wrong.
Really?
Like for months leading up to him being here. Everybody thought it was Robashaw.
Robashaw.
Oh, which is what
Rogan Josh.
Everybody called him Robashaw. Apparently Mike Cumming called him and was like, I think maybe he talked to like his assistant or something. And she corrected Mike on the phone. Oh. Robashow.
Robashow?
Robashow.
Like what's the dice game that we play? Rochambeau.
No, that's not a dice game. That's not a dice game.
Is that not?
Rochambeau.
What is Rochambeau?
Rochambeau?
What is that?
Do you not know what Rochambeau?
I'm going to be honest. I really don't.
Is it Rochambeau when you like...
Hold on.
This is not good. I don't think we're allowed to talk about this.
Siri, what is Rochambeau?
Please let it just talking to the mic.
No, that's a person. He's a person. He's a critical figure.
Rochambeau is a critical figure. Okay, I'm pretty sure that Rochambeau is when like you take turns kicking each other in like the nether regions.
Morgan, Rochambeau is another name for rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, honestly,
what?
If you're listening you're listening to this podcast and it has been your belief that Rochambeau is what I just referred to, I need you to email Tony
dude,
Matar.
it's about rock, paper, scissors.
There's no way that
Rochambeau is another name for the game rock, paper, scissors.
All right, but
kicking each other in another region?
No, I'm serious, dude. I'm serious.
Pastors Unfiltered.
What is... We need to do the...
We don't need to look... No.
You need to look up in the Urban Dictionary.
I don't want to go there. My Covenant Eyes people are going to get my report in the morning and say, what's Tony looking at?
Rochambeau. Maybe I'm wrong.
Now that half of the audience is either offended or cackling.
Sorry, guys.
We don't know. Morgan, how are you?
Doing great. Actually, that's a straight lie. I'm so tired.
Okay.
My kids did not sleep last night.
That's the worst.
I was up
the
whole night.
Really? Like they just were up a lot?
Yeah, dude.
That's
they woke up. Yeah, parents out there, man, we deserve way more respect than we get sometimes. So Boston woke up twice.
Mm-hmm.
Just wouldn't go to sleep. He's up for like an hour. Kept on going up there, rubbing his back. As soon as I get him down to bed, Brinley.
They work together.
Walks into my room. I had a nightmare.
Does she sleep on your floor?
You know what she had a nightmare about?
Who?
In school right now, she's learning about King Nebuchadnezzar. She had a nightmare. This is true. She had a nightmare that King Nebuchadnezzar was telling her to bow down to a gold statue.
What did she... Oh,
and she didn't want to bow down. And I said, proud of you, Brinley.
You should show her the Veggie Tales of King Bunny.
Is that what
you know
is?
that one, Judah? Yeah,
I don't think I've watched that. I'll have to, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this critical series of questions. Are you
Okay.
ready for this? This
right.
is going to really show the listeners who you really are.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so
I don't know if they
what are
want
you
that.
listening to? What are you reading? And what are you doing for fun?
What am I listening
What are
to?
you listening to right
Okay. Is this supposed to be like what podcast am I listening to?
Podcast, music, it's whatever you're listening to.
I'm not going to lie. I really don't listen to a lot of podcasts. But
Okay.
new favorite band that I have right now. Can I talk about this?
Okay.
Blue Wednesday. Okay.
Blue Wednesday?
This is lo-fi. It's like lo-fi chill music. It's like lo-fi jazz almost.
Oh.
And it is the best. Like if I'm just like working in my office,
Study
I put it
word.
on.
Okay.
It is the best.
Blue
Telling you,
Wednesday.
you got to look it up. Look up a song called Middle School.
Okay. Blue Wednesday.
Blue Wednesday, Middle School. Me and Cole Hasty have been listening to this all the time in the office. It sets the vibe very strong. So
Okay.
that's what I'm listening to a lot of. Also, John Mayer Radio on Spotify is a great playlist. Podcasts, I don't listen to podcasts right now. I'm sorry.
You listen to
So-
Pastors Unfiltered? You know what's sad is most of our staff, my wife, don't listen to Pastors Unfiltered.
I did not say that I don't listen to it.
Your face said it. Most people don't listen. Do you listen to it, Greenie?
I mean, he's in here. Every
that's
episode.
what a cop out. Judah, do you listen to this in between shifts? I do. You do?
Oh, see, that's why everybody likes Judah.
At PF Chang's.
At PFG.
Shout out Judah at PF Chang's. If you
Lettuce
want
wrap.
to go get some lettuce wraps, some quality food, Judah, and you're the server, right? Tip well, folks.
Judah, do you have any more of those free lettuce wrap coupons?
You brought in a stack of 500.
You do.
Okay, so you don't listen to podcasts much. You listen to Blue Wednesday. I was just in the car with Cole Hasty the other day, and he had put on Pastor Sean put on Ben Rector.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And
I've
they
heard
were
a lot
like,
about Ben Rector.
these two white guys lost their minds. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know who Ben Rector is, man?
No.
I said,
I've
do you know
heard
who
of-
that he is?
I've heard a lot about him, but I haven't really listened to a lot of his music.
It's like a Christian John Mayer.
He's Christian?
He's a believer. Yeah, he is.
Really?
He is.
I didn't know that.
He is. Okay, so then what are you doing for fun? Or excuse me, what are you reading?
Reading, I read the Bible. This is so boring, dude. I mean, we're reading Prodigal God. I'm starting that book this week. I'm taking classes at Northwest right now, so I'm reading books for that. And I don't really want to read anything else other than what I am having to read. So, reading the Bible.
The Bible's good.
I'm in a reading plan with my buddy Austin, and we read together, and we just kind of post notes back and forth, which is good. Other than that, I'm reading. Me and Brinley just started reading these chapter books we found at the dollar store.
Boxcar Kids?
Close. I think it's called. I don't know, man. I forget. It's like about some girl, Nancy Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Little Nancy Drew books.
Of course, those are classics.
Bro, we bought like 8 of them.
Classic
and so
Americana.
we've been going through them.
Yeah, those are great.
Little Nancy Drew mystery books.
Those are great.
So I'm in deep on the Nancy Drew right now.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, and
Yeah.
then what are you doing for fun?
For fun. Wow. I really should have more fun. I'm not really doing anything right now. It's so cold outside. I haven't been golfing. Usually it would be golf, but I'm not golfing.
No.
Sometimes it would be woodworking, but I have no room in my garage to do anything, so I haven't really been doing any of that. I pruned some trees in my backyard yesterday.
How did that go?
So fun, man.
Yeah.
So fun.
Feels good.
It actually, the weather's been beautiful, so
Yeah.
just being outside. We've gone on some walks and bike rides with the kids and stuff like that, but
At the time of this
apparently I
recording,
need to have more fun.
that's fun. At the time of this recording, a lot of people in Western Washington are starting to freak out a little bit. There is a chance of mild dusting on Sunday,
Snowpocalypse.
which that means a 1/4 inch of snow might be hitting the Pacific Northwest. People, you'll see the lines of Fred Meyer. People stock up on everything.
Get your toilet paper.
They don't leave the house. I'm telling you, man. You know, people in Eastern
We're
Washington,
not
they're
gonna
used to
get
this.
anything.
Like people in Spokane, Richland, they know what to do with this.
We're not. People in Florida are used to it by now.
Florida know what to do with this. And
We
we
are
over
still
here,
freaking out.
it's like COVID all over again. I can't find toilet paper.
We spent 5 minutes talking to our staff about what we're doing in case it snows.
Can we believe that?
Yeah, I'm not having that spiel with my staff. But I might have to if it snows. Well, hey, let's dive into today, Morgan. I'm excited. You know, typically when Pastor Brandon's here, sometimes we talk deeply spiritual stuff. Sometimes it's just pop culture. What's fun? What's on our minds? Sometimes we're talking about sermons. And Morgan, I actually felt like you would be the best person for this subject that we're talking about today. And the reason being is this. You have a sticky personality. I would say most people who know you for a certain length of time or any length of time would say, Morgan's my friend. Think of the amount of weddings you've been in, the amount of weddings you've officiated. A lot of people would say, Morgan's my friend.
Jesus is a friend.
He is
Morgan
a friend.
is a friend of mine.
That's a great song.
I'm a friend
And
of mine.
I would say post-COVID, a lot of people are searching for a community and a sense of belonging, and obviously seeking friendship.
That's true.
And I think we live in a world right now where we have digital friendships, which are a type of friendship, but they're not. I don't think they're authentic friendships.
Seems hard.
It's very hard to know someone digitally.
You ever been catfished? I've heard
Yeah.
that's a thing that we got to
Yeah,
worry
I've been
about in the world.
catfished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been catfished.
Friendships, like,
But
Yeah.
not for friendships.
Okay.
It was for contracting
oh no,
for the church. Anyway, so
sorry to hear
turns out it was a guy in Mumbai, not Jake from Palm Beach, Florida.
that. son of the Prince of Mumbai.
Anyways, so I really want to talk today about what it takes to cultivate healthy friendships. And Morgan,
Love
I
it.
think you're a
Love
great person to talk about this with, because here's the
Wow.
reality. Everyone listening to the podcast today, doesn't matter what season of life you're in, you have friendships, you're seeking friendships, you want to be a better friend,
Mhm.
or maybe you noticed and looked around, I don't have a lot of friends right now. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to have
That's
all the
real.
friends in the world. That's okay. My wife asks me all the time, who are your friends? And I'll tell her oh, I'm friends with so-and-so. I'm
You
so-and-so.
start with Ariel, right? You're like,
say-
you, babe.
I say, you're my best friend. She goes, you have to say that. And I go, okay.
That's what Nicole says too.
Yeah, you have to say that.
Mhm.
But who are your friends? And all this stuff. Some of my friends. And sometimes she'll say, I don't know if they're your friend.
Mm.
I'll go, well, why? She goes, do you spend time with them?
Oof.
Do you reach out to each other? Like
Right.
when you're going through a hard time, do you call him? Or no, I don't.
Yeah.
She goes, I think they're more acquaintances. So
Yeah.
maybe establishing the foundation, there's acquaintances and then there's friends.
Yeah.
Like I have friendship with this person.
Right. And those are two different things for sure.
Very different things. So-and-so is a peer, a colleague. This person's a friend.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that I think that line between friendship and acquaintance has gotten really blurred.
Hmm?
It's like we have diluted what real friendships are.
Hmm.
And now anybody that's an acquaintance is a friend.
Yeah.
And so I would almost say I feel very honored that you think I'm a good friend. But I think I'm an acquaintance for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And that number of people that I would say are friends has really dwindled down.
Yeah, it really does.
But I think COVID had a lot to do with that too. And so now,
Mhm.
anybody we're associated with, they're like, "You're my buddy. You're my bud.
Oh, man.
We're friends.
Oh,
We play Fortnite."
you texted me one time on my birthday. That was 3 years ago.
You sent me an emoji,
An emoji.
a candle emoji.
An
on my
AI
birthday.
generated Facebook. Happy birthday. All right. So, hey, we want to talk about some keys that lead to cultivating healthy friendships.
We're not professionals.
We're
here,
not
people.
professionals, but here's the deal. Morgan and I have been friends now since 2010.
Wow.
We both had hair when we met. You were married.
I had. Oh, that's right. I
You
did
had
have
hair. You had the spider web going.
Okay.
You
All
call it
right.
the angel hair pasta.
I do call. Yeah. You could see through it. It was pretty bad.
We had met. I was 18. I met you. They had just hired you and Josh Weisbrod to be the youth pastors.
Man, that's crazy.
Nicole
Shut
was
up.
working at the church. She was the bookkeeper, I think.
It's not crazy yet.
No, Nicole was
learned
the
how to be a
bookkeeper.
bookkeeper.
I know. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
It was 2010.
You were senior in high school,
I
Or
just
you
graduated.
just graduated?
Just graduated. I just walked out.
working at Hollywood Video.
Hollywood Video with a ton of guys from Canyon Creek, now known as Venture. And we became friends ever since.
We did.
Longtime friends. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Getting a call right now.
Dave Liam.
No.
Oh,
I love when Dave
I thought it
Liam
would be
calls.
Dave
Dave
Liam.
Liam goes, he calls, but then he never says hello. He goes, yeah. So, you ever notice that? Hey,
And then-
bud. He goes,
And
yeah.
He talks for 2 minutes. You're like, hey, Dave.
This is Dave, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Hey,
Let's
I
talk
think the
about it.
first level, or
Give it
excuse
to
me,
me.
the first characteristic quality a good friend must be and have is an authentic and honest version of themselves.
That's good. So
It's
true.
really tough to befriend. Okay, so we talk about this all the time, how sometimes you're different with this group of friends versus you're different with this group of friends. But why can't you just simply be an authentic, honest version of yourself? And if people don't necessarily accept that, then they don't have to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, being mindful of who you're with, I just think if you have to suppress part of who you really are in front of a person, I don't know if I should be spending time with that person.
Mm.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you ever hung out with a person and like you think you know who they are, and then you get around other people and they're like, "Whoa, that's a different guy right there. That's a different person," or "I didn't see that side of them before."
You get a either very polished version of them,
Mm-hmm.
or you get kind of this like loosey goosey version of them, and I'm like, I don't get it.
I had a friend once who I thought I was really good friends with, and then all of a sudden we got around another group of people, and he turned into like a car salesman. And he was like, just like
Yeah.
it was like just a totally different version, like trying to sell himself to people. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Yeah.
But that's something I appreciate about you, Tony, because over the years of knowing you, is I know who I'm gonna get from one week to the other. You know, you're straight across. You're a guy who is very similar, and I know what to expect when I get together with Tony. Probably some fart jokes,
Unnecessary
some
reactions.
memes, over the top reactions. I'm gonna buy a blanket with your face on it, and you're gonna get crazy mad. You know, you're gonna act like you don't like it,
I
but
gave
you
you the
really
silent
love
treatment
it.
for 12 hours.
You did give me this.
12 hours.
Well, you started the silent treatment by calling me and
To inform you.
to inform me that you were going to give me the silent treatment. So it was like a fake. That's like when somebody says, "I'm fasting," but I'm going to tell the world that I'm fasting.
On social media,
Yeah.
giving up juice. All right. Yeah, I agree. I'll never understand. I see this a lot in the ministry world. A lot in the ministry world.
Yeah.
You watch how someone
Unfortunately.
preaches or presents his or herself, and then you see him. There are some people I've been friends with in the past who they're like really well respected in the church world, and then I've spent one-on-one time with them, and I'm like, something about your character. I'm not crazy about this. I'm not crazy about the way you talk about other people. I'm not crazy the way you joke about your wife.
Yeah.
When disrespectful jokes to your bride. I'm not crazy about that.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea.
What do they say? They say you find out who somebody really is by talking to their family.
Oh,
Right. And I feel like every time I see somebody who acts different around their family than they are when I'm around them, you kind of see through that really quickly.
100%.
Right. And I think even my wife at times, I can remember times in the past where we've been in different social settings and she'll be like, "What was that?" And she's like calling out something in me that is not portraying like my true self. And people can see right through that.
100%
I think for
can.
the most part. That's good. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about how my closest friendships, and obviously I know that we have probably mostly believers listening to this podcast. Maybe some of you out there are not. That's totally cool. But the closest friends that I have today and that have grown with over the years, we've all had. There's been. I think the story of it is that Christ is at the center of our friendship, and you talk about the different levels of like intimacy of relationship or friendship, and truthfully, like when we talk about intimacy, immediately everybody goes to like the intimacy that you have with your spouse or whatever, but there's a spiritual intimacy that is so important in friendships and relationships, and the people that I can be the most honest with, the most vulnerable with, the people who I feel like I can communicate with the best are people who share that common belief. And probably the best friend that I have from growing up has kind of fallen away from the Lord. And it's been interesting to see the way that difference, as I've kind of grown in my faith and he's kind of fallen away in his faith, the divide that's created in just our ability to have common conversation with each other, or like, come from a similar perspective. And so as I was thinking about it, I was just thinking, man, like, it's so true that like my friendships, the greatest friendships that I have, not the acquaintances, but like the real friendships that I have, we share a common belief. And I think that grounds your friendship together when you have that.
I mean, look at David and Jonathan in the Old Testament.
Yeah,
100%.
totally.
It was more than a brotherhood for these guys. Yes, it was. Yeah, 100%. I think, and to anyone listening, let's say you're a follower of Christ and you're like, well, I have friends that are non-believers. Does that mean they're no longer my friends?
Right.
Of course, you're still they're your friends, but there is a dynamic of the gospel that only someone who follows Jesus understands and can bring into a friendship, where someone who doesn't understand the gospel or live out the gospel, they just can't. They just don't.
Yeah. And please don't hear me say like give up on those friendships or only count them as acquaintances in your life. That guy is still one of my best friends, undoubtedly. But the deep connection that we once had, that was kind of founded on our shared relationship with Christ, has diminished, and in a lot of ways our connection with each other is kind of diminished from that. So interesting to look at the opposite of that side.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely one thing that I was thinking of that stands out.
Yeah. That's a good one, Morgan. Next one. This is a tough one for some people out here, including myself.
Uh-oh.
Be a great listener.
Oh. Uh-oh.
You know when someone's talking and the entire time you're thinking of your response to them? I do that all the time. And it tells them, it makes someone feel like, were you even listening to what I said?
Totally.
I think sometimes being an excellent friend means I am a great listener.
Yeah.
You lament with those who lament. You cry with those who cry. You are there with them. I just nothing feels more disconnecting with a human when they don't listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably what my wife feels like all the time.
Sorry, Ariel.
You talking to me?
But how hard has this gotten with like devices?
Our
right?
attention spans.
Yeah, like it's so hard. Even the temptation to just look at your phone in the middle of a conversation, and like I know that's me and Nicole. Like we talk about that all the time. You can be in proximity with somebody. You can be in close proximity, but be completely separated because of the attention that you give somebody, or the eye contact that you give somebody, or just the ability to listen to somebody when they're talking.
What are the little things for you that when someone does them, it makes you feel like they're not listening to you?
I get it when like you need to check your phone and stuff. Like I get it. Like if somebody would call me right now, I'd probably look down and make sure it wasn't like my wife or something like that. And if it was my wife, I probably wouldn't answer it anyway. So I'd just tell her, "Hey babe, I'll call you later." But like when somebody is constantly just like looking back at it over and over and over, that kind of drives me insane. It just makes me feel like I'm not the priority, or I'm not the focus of our interaction right now. I think another one is just like when people talk over you. And I think that kind of goes along with what you're saying of just the ability to sit and listen to each other talk and not just think of like my next reactionary comment, something like that.
It's so funny. You know how in pre-marriage counseling we do that really basic, simple exercise where we tell someone to hold like a stuffed animal or the elephant.
Yeah.
You can only talk when the elephant's in your hands, and you have to listen.
Oh, you want the elephant?
You want the elephant? Yeah.
Take it.
But man, oh man, I wonder how much more can people feel valued when they sense you are present. Mm-hmm. The person I'm with is present. And I think a good friend is a present friend.
True.
I'm not saying we're present all the time. Things happen in life. But if I could be present, then most of the time I'm with you. Mm-hmm. No, we're truly together. Mm-hmm. You know, like sometimes, man, there are some nights where I feel my wife and I will be like, hey, we're going to hang out tonight. Cool. And we'll watch a show or a movie together. Yeah. And I actually don't feel like we connected at all. Mm. We were sitting side by side, but we didn't talk. Mm-hmm. How was your day? What's going on? How's everything going? We just watched a show and whatever. Yeah. And it's not as connecting.
Yeah.
It's
I think one of the great things that people can do to be a great listener is to listen and then follow up with, like not listen to respond, but listen to follow up and like to ask a question that was based on what they were talking about. Because that actually communicates that you were listening and that you're interested, right? And I've had people that I've hung out with before that, they ask you a question and you talk because you think that they're interested. And then they're like, how about those Mariners? Like right after you've like shared, something that's going on in your life, and you're like, what? You really didn't care, did you? You don't care at all. So listening and then actually responding based on what you just listened to. Like, don't just like let it go by and act like, okay, I got what I needed.
That's good.
Follow up with it.
Give us the next one, Butch.
Bro. This wasn't even on my list, but I literally just thought of it because we're sitting right across from each other. You gotta have friends that are fun, man. Like, and that's not to say like they like, I don't know, boring people aren't friends. But like,
Not mine.
not mine either. Not the ones that I like hanging out with. Maybe that's the line between acquaintance and friend. But no, like, dude, like the people that I am really close friends with, we have fun together. Like we do things that we enjoy together, right? Like we go golfing and we go to Mariners games and like we could go sit and watch a sports game or a soccer game at where's it?
Atlantic Crossing.
Atlantic Crossing.
Shout out Atlantic Crossing. That's my spot.
And we can also do things that we really don't even like doing, but we can still have fun doing it, right? Like
going to musicals.
we love that. I actually do love musicals.
I just
but we still had a good
Back
time.
to the Future was awesome.
It was really Back to the Future. The musical was very cool. But like somebody that you can laugh with and enjoy life with, I think is such a game changer for relationships.
So Ariel follows this principle. Pastor Brandon has talked about this principle as well. There are different friends for different areas of your life. You have some friends who are simply there for fun. Some friends who are there for emotional bonding or wisdom or whatever you want to call it. Some friends who are there because they give you advice. Some friends who are just, they're friends because you have shared interests. Do you follow that type of model of like, hey, I have different friends for different areas of my life?
Man.
It sounds like when you say it out loud, like you're using them to fulfill a self-desire. Like, if I need fun, that's my fun person.
I get it. But I think I get it. Like you have people that you can go to when you need a little bit of that in your life.
That's a great way to put it.
Right?
That's a great way to
Not necessarily like they're like zoned in this area, but you're going to get this from a person.
100%.
Yeah. No, I think I resonate with that a little bit. There's definitely some people that I'll go to like if I'm walking through like like if I'm having like if I'm going through a hard season, I need somebody to be like just like spill my heart to, and know that they're going to listen. I know I could tell you exactly who I'd go to. I know that person. If I need somebody that I'm just going to go have fun with and we're going to goof around, I know who. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I could get behind that. I guess I've never like categorized them like that, but I could see.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what you talked about earlier. You know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
Right? Like you know what you're going to get with a person because that's their authentic self.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. They have to be fun. I agree with you, Morgan. It's tough to be friends with people who are not fun.
What do you even do? Like, what do you just play cribbage all day and just like not talk?
I don't know.
Like what do you
just both open up your Kindles and
read next to each other?
One of my other this is, I would say, for the friendships in your life that are where there's more shared life, memory, experiences, people you're closer with. Because not everyone, I feel like some of the issues I've noticed with our younger leaders is, I've noticed this with young leaders, especially at our church. They become friends with someone, 2 minutes later, that's my best friend. That's my best friend. They do this all the time. So-and-so, we spent like 2 months intensely together and now we're best friends. And then they kind of cycle through best friends. Like 6 months later, they're hanging out with a different person. That's suddenly their new best friend.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. And so the reason why I say that is I feel like with your close friends, like truly people that you are in friendship with, my question is, are you willing to work things out? I think you have to have a spirit and a mindset. I'm willing to work things out. If you're willing to walk away from a friendship,
Yeah. Talk about it. Come on now.
then that's probably not a friendship. It was go back to what we just talked about. That was an acquaintance.
Yeah. Totally.
If they're a friend, you're going to have to walk through some crap together and sort it out.
Yeah. No doubt. Those are hard conversations, but you recognize that they're worthy conversations. We've had some hard conversations.
We've had to.
We've had some hard ones.
Over the years.
We're going to have a hard one right after this podcast.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding.
Is there a button for that?
Raiders roll.
Raiders roll.
No, but like we've had some hard conversations, but I think we've been willing to enter into those because we recognize we're not willing to just be okay with, letting the friendship go into a different place that we don't want it to be. Right.
100%.
And so, yeah, I think that's a really good point. You weigh the value of those friendships the most in those seasons where you determine, am I willing to work through this difference that we have or this argument that we have?
And if you're not willing, I would just argue that they weren't your friend. They weren't your close friend.
Yeah, like how hard are you willing to fight for it?
They really weren't.
The other thing that I think is a good indicator of like people that are really your friends, kind of going off that same thing, just living an extended period of life together and walking through like the big moments. Like there's something really special and bonding about living through like the big moments of each other's lives.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our friendship with each other a lot, but getting to be in your wedding. I mean, like those things matter. Getting to, see each other's kids be born and grow up together. Like those things matter and they hold so much weight. And all those things really move your friendship into a place of realizing like, man, I'm willing to fight for.
You don't sweat the small stuff as much.
No.
Oh, I haven't seen him in a week or two. We haven't connected, but you know what? We have so much shared life. That doesn't mean you don't have like friendship insecurity. I haven't talked to them in 2 weeks. Are they still my friend? Are they still going to like be close to me?
Totally.
But you're right. Having all these shared moments together really helps carry you through the seasons.
Yeah. The friendship insecurity, that's a real thing.
It is.
I think that kind of piggybacks on another thing that I was thinking when it comes to having great friendships is that you have to be willing to walk into friendship with kind of just like a transparency about the realities of life and the different seasons that you're going to go through in life.
Ooh.
I think that whenever you go through seasons in life where you have to sacrifice time, you have to, like when you get married, a lot of young people, they get married and they don't realize the sacrifice that is on all the other relationships in their life. Because now they have a spouse that, to make that marriage thrive, you got to spend a lot more time with them than you did previous. And all the relationships around that new relationship, they can struggle and they can be strained. And I've just watched and I experienced it when Nicole and I got married. We got married pretty young and we were the first friends to get married of our friend group. And I remember some of the friendships that I had being really strained because there wasn't good transparency on the sacrifices that I needed to make in those friendships to make sure that I was really doing a good job being a husband. And the same thing happened when we had kids, when we had Brindley, and then when we had a second kid. It was like more and more sacrifice, and friendships are going to change over time. Your ability to spend time with people is not going to be the same as it was when you were buddies in high school or buddies in college and you were around each other all the time, when you were single and you could go and hang out whenever you wanted. There's going to be sacrifice that comes with each step in your season of life. And unless you have transparency with each other and can be okay with the realities of how that strain is going to play out on your friendship, that's where I see a lot of friendships just fizzle out.
Yeah. They don't. Sometimes your friendships change because of the new season of life you're in.
Totally.
You get married, you start having kids, when you start having kids, you know who you want to hang out with? People who have kids.
Yeah.
Because they kind of get what you're going through. It's tough, like when you know, let's say you're married with 2-3 kids, and then your buddy, he's still single, and he comes over, and your kids need you every
Blood.
5 seconds. And he goes, man, they're needy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kids.
Yes, you're right.
You're right.
And right now, you're kind of needy too,
But
buddy.
I've noticed too, when I'm with my friends who have kids, when our kids need us or kids are screaming, it's kind of like white noise. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. We just had Brindley's birthday party. Kids are running around screaming. No one's
Absolute
bothered
chaos.
by it.
Absolute
It's like,
chaos.
it is what it is. Like, so I think you're right. Friendships change over seasons. And I think you have to be willing to accept that fact.
Yeah. 100%.
And there are moments where, so hear my heart behind this. I think there are some people who are going to get left behind.
Dude, there's a book about that.
I know, Kirk Cameron, great movie, but terrible theology.
A little different conversation, but
He's coming back, and okay. Anyways,
yeah, no, you're
not
right.
everyone is going to the next level to where you're going. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you're transcending above them or better than them. Not everyone's invited to where you're going next.
It's the realities of transitioning through life.
It really is.
And you don't understand that until you experience it. That's what I've learned. Is that I had no idea of what that would feel like or look like. Or I think a lot of people, like, we were youth pastors, right? Like, we saw the groups of kids that graduated high school together. They're all best buddies. We do everything together. We go on vacations together. We're going to be in each other's lives forever. And none of those people hang out
And they
anymore.
just,
Right? Because whatever, one guy moves, one person moves, somebody starts a job, things happen in life. And unless you're willing to adapt to the realities of that change, friendships are going to strain. And unless you have grace for each other and you don't have, what did you talk about? Friendship insecurity. That's going to naturally change.
yeah, 100%.
And also, I think it's okay to say, like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's okay. And that's part of life. And if you're experiencing that right now where you're like, man, I don't feel like I have a lot of friends right now because, well, maybe you need to look at your life and recognize that either their life is changing or your life is changing. And that's okay. But I think looking for people who are in a similar season of life to you is a really good way to build friendships for the different seasons that you're walking through in life. Because you have commonality, you have common interests, you have common talking points, common stress points, common crazy kids that are destroying everything points.
I don't feel like it's not to be insensitive to anyone who's sensing loneliness or feeling loneliness. I don't think it's hard to make friends when you find people who have common interests, I look at every community. Look at people, man. You go to, like, I'm going to pick on, like, a Comic-Con.
Never been.
Dude. And it's like everyone's dressing up and they're carrying their comic books and their video game, and, like, people just become friends.
They just love each other.
They just love each other. I watch this is the Disney adults. You go to Disneyland, you got the grown people
Yeah.
who are obsessed with a little mouse in Disneyland, and they're bonding in line. I don't think it's that difficult to make friends. I think what's difficult is, where does this friendship go from here?
Mhm.
Do I put in effort? Do I put in time? Do I spend time listening to them, caring about them? I think that's where that's where the line draws for some people.
Pastor Brandon talks about this a lot with his concentric circles idea, right?
The circles. We've
Right?
talked about
Doesn't it
this.
talk about it?
We've talked about this.
And you've got to determine where that person lives in your life. And I think a lot of times we convince ourselves that inner circle is way bigger than I think it really is in reality.
I think people's inner circles are either too large or too small.
Huh.
Think about it. They share too much with too many people, or they share very little with only a few people, which you look at the 12 disciples and then you look at the 3 that walked with Christ. There was a closer intimacy with those 3 than among just the 12. There had to have been. Between time spent, between what's undocumented, what hasn't been penned in the scriptures that we don't know about, the conversations that were had. Of course. So that's where I think, man, sometimes I think people just overshare.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. Okay, we got to wind down here pretty soon. Oh, yeah, caramba. Morgan, you had a point that I thought was really good about accountability. I think we should end it on this note, unless you have any more you want to talk about.
No, dude.
I think I hope today so far has encouraged people. If you need a friend, go find a friend. If you need a friend, not just to like be that guy, go to a small group. If you attend Venture, go to a small group. If you don't, go to your local church, go to a small group. Find people. There are people around you who want to be your friend.
Yeah.
There really are. Let's talk accountability here for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think Scripture paints it pretty clear that, a godly friendship involves lifting up one another in their faith, in good times, in struggles. And so part of it is accountability, but another part of it is just encouragement.
Yeah.
Right? Like a friend that can speak life into you in good times and bad times, celebrate with you and mourn with you, laugh with you and cry with you. I think that's huge. The accountability part is, I think the reality there is that a real friend is going to be somebody who is willing to walk through a hard season of friendship because they're willing to speak the hard truth that other people would not be willing to speak because they're not willing to jeopardize ultimately a lesser relationship with you than a real friend has. But a real friend genuinely just cares about you. And so they're going to be willing to put themselves out on a limb and ask a hard question that could have a prickly response or could tap into something that could be uncomfortable to talk about. And I just think we so easily paint over the importance of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that the truth is that I don't think it's wise to invite a lot of those friendships in to your life unless you truly have a lot of the other things that we've talked about. You know who they are, they're consistent. You have trust built in with
You've seen their true colors.
Yeah, the people that you would invite into that circle of influence in your life probably should be pretty small because they are your closest friends, right? They're the people that you can trust the most at the end of the day. So it's part of it is like knowing who those people are. And the other part of it is you having the courage to invite that kind of relationship into your life. And there's a difference between expecting a friend to speak that and inviting a friend to speak
Do you
that.
think that's why people get so upset? Because they expect their friend, they want their friend to say something. But honestly, if at the end of the day, we all kind of just want our friends to agree with us.
Yeah.
But then when they finally do say something, we're borderline offended or
Right.
triggered by it and go, how dare they? How dare they? Because then you start to weigh your life versus their life and compare.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like people want it? They want to be not confronted, but held accountable?
I don't think
Ask the hard questions?
I don't think that people necessarily want it, but they need it.
Yeah. It's good.
And I think that's why it's important that you invite that person into your life. You can spend so much time around a person and feel like you're the closest people in the world and you know everything about a person and never speak a hard truth into somebody's life. And ultimately, a friend that speaks the hard truth out of love is the one that loves you the most because they want to see the best version of yourself. They want to help you walk through those things in life. And so I just think that for me, the times and the people that I've had come to me and say, hey, Morgan, I've noticed this thing. Ultimately, I hate that in the moment. But as I look back on those conversations now today, I'm so thankful for those people in my life. You've been that person. Guys like Jim Arment have been that person in my life. Pastor Brandon has been that in my life. Like some of these people who just they're willing to put themselves in an awkward position because they love you that much. And that is irreplaceable. And where you may not say over a microphone that you want that, you need it.
You did that a lot with me when I was thinking where to plant the church and where to start a church. And when I'd say, I think we're going to do Vegas, you asked me some really hard questions in that season that I I had to answer. And you know who else does that? Sorry, Jude, I just played footsies with you.
Uh-oh.
Is, Pastor Di does that. Pastor Di, I think
Yeah, so true.
she's willing to someone be upset with her if it meant she did the right thing and asked them the right question.
You're totally right about that.
She will ask good, hard questions.
Yeah.
She does that all the time. And not because she needs you to like her. I think that tells me, number one, she's very confident. She doesn't care deeply. I mean, she obviously everyone cares if you like them or not.
Yeah.
She doesn't need you to like her.
Yeah.
She does that a lot too.
Yeah, she does.
She asks really good questions.
And at the end of the day, like, you just realize how valuable that relationship is and how rare that is to find in a person. And if you
It is
have
rare.
that, like if you're listening to this and you recognize that you have a person that's willing to ask those hard questions, do everything in your power to fight to keep that relationship.
Even if it's infrequent, I recognize there's some friendships I have I could just pick up where we left off.
Totally.
Because I recognize we're at different paces of life right now. So-and-so's doing this, and we're over here. Like, it happens. You could pick up where you left off, ask good questions, hold each other accountable. Man, Morgan, this was a good bromance sesh.
This is so nice. Man, it's
Thank
almost
you.
Valentine's Day. That was a nice little bromance session.
So there's Galentines. What do they call for the guys?
Oh, what do you guys
What do you guys call it? hang. You want to hang? Hang with the bros.
You guys want to go to Wingstop?
You guys, bros. Anywho, so
Bro times.
hey, Morgan, thanks for being here, bro. Appreciate you,
man.
man. This is great. Thank you for being one of my best friends, and what a great episode.
Man.
Thank you, man.
Love you, man.
Pastor Brandon, you're a good friend.
He is.
He is. He buys. Think about it. He buys me presents.
He does.
He texts me.
He loves buying presents.
He calls me.
Do you think- hold on. Do you think Pastor Brandon got you a present while he was gone?
Yeah, 100%.
What do you think he got you?
Probably like a wooden camel.
Oh,
I thought of you when I saw this.
dude, he bought my daughter. I think he might have bought one for your daughter too, but he came back with a t-shirt for my daughter once. I think it was in Israel or Egypt, and it was a t-shirt of a camel.
Yeah,
And the back of the camel was literally the butt of a camel.
he did.
Like the back, yeah.
He did. I forgot, but it said something on there too. Yeah, he's done that. It's funny when he buys our kids presents.
I love it.
It's
Love
it's
it.
adorable. It tells me he's ready to be a grandpa.
He really is.
Judah,
Judah,
any women? I ask you every week. Anyone? You seen anyone yet? Nothing. All right.
hey, there's a shout out Visible Coffee. They have a speed dating night coming up.
Do they really?
Judah, I would, dude.
Dude, we should send Judah.
podcast.
Greenie, let's take Judah to the speed dating night and let's film it and let's lapel him and we'll hide a camera like in the corner and like so like when he asks the girls like, what's your name? What do you do for fun? Judah, would you want to do that?
Dude!
We should. Okay, we're gonna film Judah at the speed dating night. When is it?
It's like $15. You gonna pay that?
I'll pay-
Are you gonna
I'll
fund
cover that.
Okay.
We'll put it on the divvy.
Sorry, Heather.
Our bookkeeper's gonna be. What type of ministry expense is this? Love.
Young couples.
Young couples. Well, hey, folks, thank you for listening today. Next week, Pastor Brandon is back, and we are in the full swing of things. We are very thankful that you are part of our community here. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple and on Spotify, and share this episode. And final remarks, if you need friends, go find a friend. Be proactive. And if you are a friend, be a good friend. Time to take some inventory. I'm going to think about this on my drive home today. And a long drive home. 25 minutes. Anywho, we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Pastors Unfiltered. Don't forget. I always point to someone and they say the part.
You got a friend
Nope.
in me.
Jesus is the hope of the world.
Oh,
Yeah. Can you say that part? And then you can sing the song.
Jesus is the hope of the world.
Okay, now you can sing it.
You got a friend in me.
Let's end it. We're done.
Raiders roll.